Hi guys, do you know that the bacteria in your body weighs as much as your brain? That's about 3 pounds. Well, my name is Nonso Ezanobekwe and I welcome you to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be introducing you to antibiotics. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to tell the origin of antibiotics, describe how antibiotics work, and explain why some antibiotics become less effective. So guys, if this is your first time here, kindly subscribe to this channel and don't forget to click the like button because I'm sure you're going to like this video. Now let's jump into it. First of all, a drug is any substance taken into the body to modify or affect chemical reactions in the body. If this substance is used in medicine to help our bodies fight illness or disease, it is called a medicinal drug. An antibiotic comes readily in mind here. We also have recreational drugs such as heroin, morphine, and alcohol, often used wrongly by people to provide stimulation or create hallucinations. Secondly, a disease that is caused by a tiny organism known as pathogen is called an infection, and it is usually transmitted from one individual to another through water, insect bites, air, or by direct contact. Pathogens include viruses, bacteria, fungi, and so on. Usually, when we take medicinal drugs, it is to treat one infection or another. And so what are antibiotics? These are drugs used to treat bacterial infections. Antibiotics are a type of antimicrobial designed to target bacteria within or on the body. They are different from the other main kinds of antimicrobials widely used today, which are antiseptics and disinfectants. While antiseptics are used to sterilize surfaces of living tissue when the risk of infection is high, such as during surgery, disinfectants are used on non-living surfaces and they kill a wide range of microorganisms, including bacteria. Amazingly, most of the antibiotics we use come from bacteria or fungi that live in the soil. Arguably, the best known antibiotic is penicillin, which is produced by the mold fungus Penicillium and was discovered by Sir Alexander Fleming in 1928. Now let me tell you how it all happened. Alexander Fleming was a bacteriologist working at St. Mary's Hospital in London. In 1928, he was studying different strains of Staphylococcus bacteria. He had made some cultures on agar plates and left them on a bench during a 4-week holiday. When he returned, he noticed that one of the plates had been contaminated by a mold fungus, and that around the margins of the mold, there was a clear zone with no bacteria growing. Fleming reasoned that a substance had diffused out of the mold colony and killed the bacteria. The mold was identified as Penicillium notatum, and the supposed antibacterial chemical was called penicillin. Fleming went on to culture the penicillium and proved that indeed it produced penicillin, which suppressed the growth of a wide range of bacteria. Unfortunately, Fleming was unable to purify the penicillin in order to test it on humans, and so he kind of lost interest in the project. But in 1939, 10 years later, when of course scientific techniques have improved, Howard Florey, a pathologist, and Ernst Chain, a biochemist working at Oxford University, succeeded in preparing a reasonable amount of pure penicillin and making it stable. It was a huge breakthrough at that time. In fact, during the Second World War, there was an urgent need for a large production of this penicillin, and this saved many lives that would have been lost as a result of infected wounds. Successfully, the molecular structure of penicillin was worked out, and it became possible to modify it chemically and produce other forms of penicillin that attacked a different range of bacteria. For example, ampicillin is a modified penicillin that can be taken by mouth rather than by injection. Other examples are methicillin and oxacillin. Since the discovery of penicillin, a large number of other antibiotics have been discovered, including streptomycin for tuberculosis, chloramphenicol for typhoid, aureomycin and terramycin, which attack a wide range of bacteria. So how do antibiotics really work? Antibiotics attack bacteria in a variety of ways. Some of them disrupt the production of the cell wall and so prevent the bacteria from reproducing, or even cause them to burst open. Some interfere with proteins and thus arrest bacterial growth. So depending on how an antibiotic works, it can either be bactericidal if it kills the bacteria, such as polymyxin B, or bacteriostatic if it simply stops the bacteria from growing. An example of this is tetracycline. Also, an antibiotic may be narrow spectrum if it is effective against a narrow range of bacteria, or broad spectrum if it deals with a wider range of bacteria. As we all know, animal cells do not have cell walls, and the cell structures involved in protein production are different. Therefore, antibiotics do not damage human cells, although they may produce some side effects such as allergic reactions, diarrhea, bloating, and indigestion. In the same vein, antibiotics are not effective against viral diseases. This is because antibiotics work by disrupting structures in bacteria such as cell walls and membranes, or processes associated with protein synthesis and replication of DNA. Viruses have totally different characteristics to bacteria, so antibiotics do not affect them. Meanwhile, not all bacteria are killed by antibiotics. This is because some bacteria have a nasty habit of mutating to forms that are resistant to these drugs. For this reason, it is important not to use antibiotic in a diluted form. It is also important not to use antibiotics for too short a period or for trivial complaints. These practices lead to a buildup of a resistant population of bacteria. Now let me explain how this happens. If a course of antibiotics is not completed, some of the bacteria that should have been destroyed will not be killed, but would have been exposed to the drug. And so, some of the survivors may become drug-resistant mutants. And when these mutants reproduce, all their offspring will have the drug resistance. So the antibiotic will become less effective. One type of bacteria that has developed resistance to a number of widely used antibiotics is called MRSA. That is, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. These types of bacteria are sometimes referred to as superbugs because they are so difficult to treat. Thank you very much for watching, but before I wrap up, I have 2 questions for you, and if you have answers to these questions, be the first to drop them in the comment section. Number 1. Can antibiotics be used to treat malaria? Number 2. Are hand sanitizers antibiotics? Make sure to give reasons for all your answers, and I will be waiting to acknowledge them in the comment section. Moreover, if you have any topic in mind you want me to do a video on, do feel free to say it in the comment section and I will consider it. And finally, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do that now, and don't forget to like and share this video. It is free. See you in my next video. I love you all.